Well, there you can see the site we got at Kings Park. That is the new big pavilion that's just been completed in the last year, and 42,000 people here. And the weather conditions, I'm sure you'll first want to hear. You can see the sunshine. It's warm, and there's very little wind. A slight northeasterly wind, and very hottish, sort of difficult conditions. New Zealand side, as you see, only a couple of changes. Loveridge has come in at halfback. And in the forwards, Jock Hobbs, who's captaining the side, has come in place of Frank Shelford. Jock Hobbs, and Gary Wetton, with his Auckland teammate Andy Hayden. They'll be the two locks. So a very powerful side. I was saying the weather is a little bit humid, and the ground very different from Cape Town conditions. It's hard, firm underfoot, well covered with grass. There's the South African side, unchanged from the last game in Cape Town. Nas Botha, the captain again, and he will be hoping to keep up his average of having scored nearly 12 points in every test match he's played. With me, the former Transvaal and junior Springbok 5/8, Hugh Bladen. Hugh, all set for a tense, exciting game, I think.
Well, I think it's almost make or break for the New Zealand side, and they've been down in Durban relaxing, and they were out at Louis Late's place, the president of the Transvaal Rugby Union, Dr. Louis Late. He has a place down at Belita, a magnificent home, and they were there on Thursday for a braaivleis, and that's a barbecue. And it was quite interesting. He said because at about 5 o'clock they were enjoying themselves and the guys wanted to stay, but Ian Kirkpatrick said, fellas, home and back to the hotel. We've got to prepare and get our minds right for this game, and it is important for this New Zealand side. As you can well appreciate, they've come here under a little bit of duress, and it's a very important game for them, as it is for South Africa. And you can see there the situation, a beautiful day in Durban, a little bit of a southwesterly blowing, and so the toss may be reasonably important, but I think everybody sort of appreciated so much. There's the referee, Mr. Rowlands from Wales, and blew so well in the first test.
And interesting today, we've got the two touch judges, Steve Straden, the top South African referee, and Mr. Frank McMullen from New Zealand. He's out here principally to referee the game next Tuesday between the South African Barbarians and the New Zealand side. So it'll be very good to have a New Zealand official here. He'll be on the line, and so we've got three absolutely top international referees. And I think the chaps in the dressing room must be incredibly tense at the moment. The All Blacks knowing that they must win this one. And they were out here training on Kings Park yesterday. They obviously weren't giving it a full go in order to keep something in reserve for today, but there was a sense of purpose there that was very serious indeed. They're taking it very seriously, and I'm sure they're absolutely determined to win. The Springboks obviously will want to take the chance of going 2 up in the series, so I think it's all set for an absolute humdinger of a game.
Well, there's some quite interesting changes. People in New Zealand will probably be interested to see that Steve Pokeri, there's Jock Hobbs. Be interesting to see just how they prepare. Well, you can just see how serious they are, Chick.
Murray Mexted, there's Mark Shaw, Grant Fox, there's Hika Reid. It's Gary Knight. Warwick Taylor with his hand bandaged up. There's Craig Green. Referee in bright red shirt. And there are the Springboks. Unusual with the two badges, one advertising a motor company, and the Springbok on the left breast. Dani Gerber. Carl de Vries, Hughes, the last one out. And the big shout as they're now all on the field. They've just got to clear the field of a few spectators and flag bearers. There's Jock Hobbs, and who's played 17 tests, captaining the side. And we see that the numbers, a slight change in numbers. On the program we had Warwick Taylor as 13 and Simpson as 12, but as we suspected, Warwick Taylor will be wearing the 12 jersey. There's the referee, Mr. Ken Rowlands of Wales. Interestingly enough, he has refereed a test match here before. He was out in, I think it was 1980 when the British Lions were here, and he refereed the one game in Johannesburg and then the second game here. Referee says, are you ready? And it looks like the Springboks have won the toss and decided to play against the wind. And there's a good kick out taken by Skaltberger. In goes Andy Hayden. And coming away with it for Bartman. And here's the first real ruck of the game, and it's pretty tense. A long pass there. Nice Botha. And will that put him right for the game? Yes, he's found touch. He made certain that he got his touch. There he is, captaining his side for the second time today. You can hear the referee there. He wants there's big Andy Hayden. He wants that half-meter gap between the two lines. And Jock Hobbs gets it into Murray Mexted. Mexted wants to set up second phase. Victor Simpson with it now. Victor Simpson in a very good gap there, trying to pick up his side well. Flipped back by Flippy van der Merwe to Donny Gerber. And Jaco Reinach. Has the ball gone straight out? No, Reinach tackling Loveridge, out to touch. There's Jaco Reinach, the fastest man on the Springbok side. Halfway line. And to throw in is Uli Schmidt. And that's good possession. Taken back in by Mark Shaw, and a penalty. Penalty to the All Blacks. And a bit of altercation there between Flippy van der Merwe and Mark Shaw.
You can
and the
see
referee.
how quickly the referee steps in there. Took very good refereeing by Ken Rowlands. And Louis Moorman went up for the ball in that line out, and he thought that he'd been instructed, but Flippy van der Merwe went through onto the All Black player. And it's good to see that Ken Rowlands, he takes the emergency steps right away, doesn't let anything develop.
Well, now, for people watching in New Zealand, you may think this is a very long kick, but of course, in the very dry weather here, and with the benefit of a bit of the southwesterly wind, I'm sure this is certainly within the compass of Grant Fox. That's the halfway line, 15 meters in from the grandstand touchline. And a very important kick this, to get ahead so early in the game. We've only had just over 2 minutes in the first half. First penalty of the match.
With the wind, of course.
Yes, he was just lifted high up there, and it's got all the distance. Wait for it. Is it straight? It's a beautiful kick. And the New Zealanders are leading by 3 points to nil. That very important penalty kick by Grant Fox, and that'll put him right for the game. So the New Zealanders leading by a penalty goal to nothing, and so far it has been all around the halfway line. Nice Botha. Under it is Gary Wetton. Another furious ruck out. Michael du Plessis. It was a good mark there by Kieran Crowley. Marked under a lot of pressure from that. Not a bad up and under by Michael du Plessis, who appeared in the first 5/8 position. That's an interesting one right down the field there, using the wind. Back for it is Christo Ferreira, but nice Botha to the rescue. And he's challenged by Warwick Taylor. This could be a try. Warwick Taylor going, will the ball go into touch? Yes, he's got it. He's got his try. And that was a bad mistake. Nice Botha having his kick charge on. There's Warwick Taylor, and he'll be delighted with that quick bit of thinking, following up, charging down the kick, and a wonderful thing for his side.
Well, we see it now here. A very good kick, in fact, because he's right in centre field, kicks it straight down the field with a very strong wind behind him, puts the spring. Now watch Christo Ferreira, just has a little bit of trouble in gathering this ball, and that gave the All Blacks the time in which to get back. Nice Botha running onto the right foot. He's also good with the left, but then there comes the charge down front. Now watch how Warwick Taylor just slows up. Watch how he slows up. Watch that. Oh, perfect control. Very good try and very good play by Warwick Taylor.
And 7 points to nil with the kick to come. Grant Fox. Difficult kick right from the corner, and probably from the side that he will not prefer, right-handed, right-footed, round the corner kicking. Could swing a little bit from right to left. So he'll have to aim for the near pole. See the big crowd absolutely quiet. And he's hit it well. No, past the post, so it's a penalty and a try to nothing. You see the reserves. 5 minutes gone. And 7 points to 0. The New Zealanders leading. Botha with a drop kick. Goes the New Zealanders into that ruck. They've got possession there. Loveridge and Hughes into his own quarter area and making sure of his kick. Hughes, who comes from George, right down in the bottom of the Cape. Younger brother of Chris Hughes, who played for the Eastern Province. There you hear the line-out signals coming through the effects microphone there, because Andy Hayden, but that's a good one for the Springboks. And Michael du Plessis got it from Botha there. Good covering there by Loveridge, but he hasn't found touch. He's found Hughes. Saw Murray Mexted coming for him out of the corner of his eye and did well to get that rolling kick in. Yeah, the referee wanting that gap of 1 meter between the players. And penalty given.
Again from the obstruction situation there, Chick, and the referee very quick to blow up those obstructions. The lineouts have been a little bit of a problem on this tour, and the referee jumping in very quickly there.
And Botha asking the referee what it was for, and the referee clearly indicating with his elbow that it was for obstruction in the lineout. And can Grant Fox kick another one? Almost the same position. In fact, you can see the little mound that he left previously. It's just about a meter further back, or 1.5 meters. The difference is that he'll have a lot more confidence having kicked the first one, and he knows he can do it. He'll want to lift it as high as he can and let the wind help carry it. We'll have a good view of this. 7.5 minutes gone in the first half. Score 7-0. Can Fox make it 10-0? No, not this time. He hasn't hit it well. To the left and a bit low. Botha. Oh, he wasn't going to risk it being charged down that time. And the crowd enjoyed that. He's a determined guy, Botha, in everything he does. He's a provincial baseballer as well as his rugby, and quite a good golfer. Andy Hayden getting it clean, but he's robbed. Christopher Ferreira chased by Knight. The referee said the ball was knocked forward. And so far the game's been played in a very good spirit indeed. That powerful New Zealand front row. Christopher Ferreira, half tackle by Loveridge. Out to Jacko Reinach from Botha. And he hasn't found touch. Kieran Crowley with a difficult one. He's outside his 22. And he's tried a long one. That's what Botha so often does. Craig Green following up. And a good kick by Botha.
Well, very well taken by Botha under the circumstances. The ball coming over his shoulder and against the wind, a very good kick indeed. It's quite interesting, Chick, that we're 8 minutes into the game, and that was the first scrum of the game.
Yes, you don't often get that. And Murray Mexted trying to tap it back at the back of the line out there, but I think the Springboks seem to have got it. And he Brett with it, and Christopher Ferreira to Botha. Good chip into the gap, and there is a gap there. Victor Simpson going back for it. Well done by Simpson. And he got his kick in well as Jacko Reinach. Difficult bouncing ball. And is he going to run his way out of trouble? He's beaten one man. Oh, well, I think a little lucky there, Hugh. He managed just to scramble it out somehow.
Well, those are the situations when you start looking for a bit of room and there's no room, and panic button is hit. Short line out.
5-man line out and a free kick, not a penalty. And I think it was for closing the gap, perhaps. Closing up that 1 meter gap there must be between the men in the same team must remain until the ball has come in. And he hasn't got his touch. Crowley. Another long one using the wind. And Kunis don't have to do anything. It's going to go over the dead ball line. But that is an indication that there's a little bit more wind out there than we thought.
Well, I think if you look at the top of the stands, Chick, I mean, down on the ground, it doesn't look that apparent, but up on the top of the stands, there are flags, and they're blowing at a very stiff situation.
And Kieran Crowley. Up comes Jaco Reinach. Once again, that long kick right down the centre, and once again, it's gone too far. The Springboks let it go over the dead ball line, so another 22 dropout.
Well, with the wind behind you, not bad tactics.
Right. I think it'll be the New Zealanders' idea to play the whole of this half certainly in their opponent's half of the field, and Craig Green almost caught napping. Yes, he was caught napping really. He tried to desperately to knock it back into play, but it was already out. So quick thinking by Botha then.
Well, quite interesting. I've never seen that before. He actually dropped the ball out of his hands, re-caught it, and then took the quick one on the open side.
And here's the penalty for obstruction in the line out. This time to the Springboks, and Botha indicates he's going to go for the posts. Well, this was not as easy a kick as it would appear, because although it's 8 meters inside the New Zealanders' half of the field, it is against the wind. And as Hugh Bladen was saying, once the ball gets up into the air, high up, it is affected by the wind. But Botha has an incredible way of being able to keep it low, just like a golfer hitting the ball into the breeze. Now, will he keep it low this time? He certainly will try to. No, he's kicked it high, and there it's holding up in the wind, swirling away. Grant Fox, and very quickly up onto was Carl du Plessis, trying to see if he couldn't perhaps charge the kick down. But I think Botha will have learned a lot by that kick there.
Well, I think the other thing is interesting, at Kings Park, there's a huge gap in the right-hand corner of the field, and the wind howls through there.
And the referee again being very strict in the line-out, saying that that was obstruction. And interesting, from halfway, what's Botha going to do? He's going to try an even longer kick. But I remember him in the Currie Cup final 2 years ago at Newlands, where he kicked a very long one and against the wind, and he ball hardly rose higher than the crossbar. Let's see what he does now. He's kept that a little bit lower and hits the upright and back into play. Grabbed there by Gary Witten, and Gary Witten tackled by Carl du Plessis. Just managed to get his kick in.
Well, that was absolutely amazing. And there's a strong wind into Botha, and from the halfway line, he hit the upright. Absolutely incredible.
And that was after 13 minutes in the first half, and the score remains 7 points to the New Zealanders, 0 to the Springboks. But it is the Springboks on the attack now. For the first time in this match, they're inside the New Zealanders 22. Tapped back by Louis Moorman, but coming through very quickly, Hika Reid. Untidily tapped back. Christopher Herrera had very little chance. Andy Hayden ending up with the ball. Scrum on the New Zealanders 22-meter line. Grant Fox. Very quick, neat little pass by Dave Loveridge there.
Very well cleared, actually. The whole operation was very good. From Mexted to Loveridge to Fox. Very quick, slick, good.
And certainly Grant Fox has gone from strength to strength on this tour. He's playing very good football. And that's Botha. Drop goal attempt. And no, it's not going to be over. Under it is Crowley. He thought of... Yeah, he's called for a mark. Fair catch given.
Quite interesting. There's Jock Hobbs right behind Grant Fox, and he was in position. Incredible anticipation by Jock Hobbs.
And he's made certain as Crowley.
And interesting to see Crowley, who hasn't been kicking the ball that well on this tour, hitting some very lengthy torpedoes.
Well, he's using the wind well. In fact, all the New Zealand chaps are using this wind very cleverly.
5-man line out for the Springboks.
And advantage to Uli Schmidt. Referee says there was no advantage and they must go back to where the original knock forward occurred. Hickory knocking the ball on, and they'll scrum. Christopher Ferreira. Swinging scrum there. Botha. That is Donny Gerber with it now. Donny Gerber in a gap, and this could be very dangerous. He's got Carl Duversteer with him and decides to go himself inside to Gert Small. There's Val Bartman there, and I think it was Christopher Ferreira pulled down, change of direction, long one out to Yakarana. Now here's the fast man, he's the fastest guy probably on the field, going for the corner. Will he make it? No, just short. And in there is Jannie Breert to try and see if he can't get over there, but the referee right on the spot and is out to touch. Good tackle by Kieran Crowley. Let's see if we can have that again. Little hold up for injury. That's Gary Knight there.
And it's Kieran Crowley who's in a little bit of trouble, but we may see this again. And it was really what one wants to look for there is the slip by Donny Gerber on Victor Simpson.
Jock Hobbs having a pretty stern talk to his forwards, because I think that the quick heel to quick second phase was what made it possible for the Springboks. Well, looks though we're not going to get that, so a play on again. Springboks right in the attack, and the ball knocked straight out. Referee's taken the line out. Is tapped back by the Springboks. 5-man line out again, and Louis Moolman taking it cleanly. Uli Schmidt with it, and the New Zealand forwards doing very well to push the ruck a good 10 meters forward. And the referee says that it's the New Zealanders' ball. And Loveridge. This is one that Hickory will want to get, and he's got it. John Fox, and using that wind right across field. Hiernes. It's too far for a drop kick. And pretty well judged by Johan Hiernes there. Judge it nicely, bounce it inside the field of play. He's a student, he has a law degree. And this line out on the New Zealanders' 22-meter line. Hickory. Tap back by Moolman. Christopher Ferreira out to Nas, misses out Nas Botha. And a penalty. The referee was waiting for advantage. A penalty to the Springboks.
Well, moving away from the line of touch before the line out was over.
And this is one that Nas Botha will certainly expect to get. 15 meters in from touch.
Well, this is a difficult one, Chick, because he's actually kicking right into that wind that is swirling through that gap in the corner there.
And Nas Botha, has he got it? Yes, all the way, and 7 points to 3 it is. And 7 points to 3, as you see, a penalty for the Springboks to a penalty and a try. And remember that the New Zealanders are playing with the wind, and this wind is not likely to die down at all. So it's a very tense game, and I think we've got to hold up there for a bit of problems from Michael du Plessis, the Springbok doctor running onto the field there. Augie Cohen, who did such splendid work with the Springbok teams, and he was with the SA Barbarians in the United Kingdom in 1979. But I think Michael du Plessis is okay. Yep.
I think just a problem with his hand there, Chick.
And Jock Hobbs having a word with the referee. There's Grant Fox. 7 points to 3. New Zealand is leading, and that's a good kick in. Who's under it? Skalkberger, helped by Louis Moolman. But look at those All Black guys go in there. Tremendous ruck, shoving them forward. The referee, pretty quick on his whistle, decides that ball will not emerge. And New Zealanders' ball. Skalkberger last up. It's Dave Loveridge. on the Springbok 22. Loveridge to Fox. Fox, there's Victor Simpson coming in. And there's second phase possession. He's got Craig Green with him. Craig Green chasing him. Jaco Reinach calls for a mark. He's given it. Fair catch given. Good quick thinking by Jaco Reinach.
Well, one always looks like forward situations like that from the wing. Craig Green, yes, Jaco Reinach moved forward, and Craig Green was very quick on the uptake there, and Gert Smal in situation to clear what could have been a very difficult situation for South Africa.
Good refereeing by Mr. Ken Rowlands there. The law says if you offer to kick, then they can charge, and he did definitely move forward, as you said. So line out, and that is the Springbok 22-meter line. That's well taken there in the front there, and going charging back in is Mark Shaw. Look at that drive. Mexted helping. And here's second phase, Loveridge. And the referee said it was pushed, knocked forward, pushed back into that ruck. That's Dave Loveridge on the ground. Number 9. Mark Shaw, number 6. Mexted, number 8. Christopher Ferreira. Yeah, he couldn't do much else there. The scrum wheeled, and he was quite happy to get the ball out of touch. Ika Reid. He's got Andy Hayden at 2. He's got Wetton at 4. Mexted at the back. Beautiful work to Hayden. Hayden driving, helped by Ashworth. Loveridge to Grant Fox. Taylor. Simpson in the gap. Hey, back into work, Taylor. Good work by Jock Hobbs there. And the Springboks trying to get in there. Will the All Blacks get the second phase possession? No, the referee says that ball is dead, and Springbok ball. But that was very good work there by Warwick Taylor. Warwick Taylor, who did so well to charge down Lars Botha's kick earlier on and score the first try of the match. Christopher Ferreira. Jannie Breed holding it cleverly there. And good shove by the Springboks. Is that Michael du Plessis? Yeah. And Craig Green with it. Can he beat Jaco Reinach? No, Jaco Reinach runs him in. Jaco Reinach, number 14, man who scored 34 tries in his 37 games for Free State.
Well, a good tackle by Jaco Reinach, but Craig Green could have possibly done a bit more with that with the win. Well taken by Scott Burger.
Christopher Ferreira, Lars Botha, and the referee is saying, yeah. Against Ika Reid for a high tackle. Law says you must not tackle around the neck. And Mr. Rowlands controlling this game very tightly. Has he found touch? No, he hasn't. He's found Craig Green into Crowley. Difficult one for Crowley. He's outside his 22, and he's kicked it directly into touch, so back they'll come. Crowley looking a little bit disgusted with himself there.
Well, looking for the touchline that time, and he punted a couple of balls right up the middle of the field earlier on the game, and perhaps he will think that's the better tactic.
That's Gert Smal at the back. Val Bartman in front of him. Schalk Burger on the left. And Loveridge back to Fox. Fox did well to get it to Taylor as he's chased by Jannie Breed. He hasn't found touch. Found Johan Kiernes. There's the up and under. And mark again by Crowley. Fair catch given. Now you see with the experience of Crowley how he'll keep absolutely still until he goes to kick. There he goes. Hasn't found touch. Lars Botha has it. And there's the rolling kick. Anton Barnard found himself in a dangerous position, hoping the ball didn't hit him. So the Springboks on the attack. We've had 24 minutes in the first half of this game. 7 points to 3. New Zealand is leading. Christopher Ferreira, Lars Botha. Good chip. And well taken by Simpson. Gert Smal is up there to try and get it back, and a penalty to the Springboks.
Well, the penalty there for the Vic Simpson holding onto the ball, not releasing it after the tackle.
There's Mark Shaw going back, and this is one that Botha will certainly expect to get.
Well, this is a much easier kick. We had a situation where Botha kicked that one penalty from near the halfway line. The second one, absolutely amazing kick, really. When we think that it hit the upright, well up on the upright, and now his fourth kick at goal. Will he succeed?
Yes, he has, and it's 7-6. You see it, 25 minutes gone. And it's a try and a penalty to the New Zealanders against 2 penalties for the Springboks. So anybody's game. And there is that wind to think about. The wind is coming from the southwest, and it does swirl around. It's much stronger high up than it is near the ground, because the stands do give it a lot of protection. There's Scout Burger, taken by Gersmal now. Good run by Gersmal. And in there, Jannie Breed. Jannie Breed looking for support. He's got Flippy van der Merwe. Flippy has it. And will the Springboks win second phase? They do. Christopher Herrera, taken by Michael du Plessis. Out to Donny Gerber. He's got Reinach on the inside, but the referee says that there was a slight knock forward from Michael du Plessis. It was only the slightest of knocks, but the referee's right there. The crowd didn't like it. There's Donny Gerber. The referee was right on the spot, and he's done so well so far.
Well, if that was a knock, and I'm sure it was, Rowlands did very well indeed to pick that up. And quite interesting to see Jock Hobbs getting back there too. There's the big Flippy van der Merwe, enormous man that he is, and Jock Hobbs getting back to make a fantastic tackle as Jannie Breed was coming away and looking dangerous. And number 5 there, Louis Moorman, just in a bit of trouble at the moment. But the All Blacks at the moment getting the better of the possession, but not quite using it. Here we'll see it again, the drive coming. Now watch it, see if the referee was right. Just the faintest of knocks. Well, it's questionable.
There's Donny Gerber right in the gap at the end there. There's big Flippy van der Merwe. 139 kilograms of him. Loveridge back to Fox. And Fox using this wind. Hiernis, will he let it go over? No, it's not going to go over the try line. And not one of Chris Hiernis's best, Johan Hiernis' best rather. Chris Hiernis is his elder brother who played for Eastern Province. But that slewed off the side of his boot. And it's amazing, the Springboks were on the attack a moment ago, and now look where they are. They're about 18 meters from their own line. Jannie Breed tapping it back. Mexted through very quickly. And here's second phase for the New Zealanders. Fox, Warwick Taylor, there's Simpson. Simpson tackled. And Mark Shaw, I think it was, doing great work. And Fox with it. Fox, and is he getting through? Just tremendous defense. Nice Botha in there, helping to stop the tide. And the referee says that ball is dead. But this is a very dangerous situation with the New Zealanders very close to the Springbok line, and it'll be there put in. 28 minutes gone in the first half. Slow heel. Will they try a shove over? Mexted going in the blind side, just held up short, and it's a try given. Mexted was pulled down, but
Mark Shaw
it is.
And Mexted, you can see Murray Mexted lying there. He's claiming the try. Mark Shaw was the support. But that was very good build-up by the New Zealanders. They had a lot of men on the right, had the overlap. Watch, here's the scrum. We'll see it from the end, so that we on the open side couldn't see it that easily. Good scrum, outpoxed Gary Knight, but they still managed to control it. The drive coming from Mexted. And there is just his momentum taking him over, and the referee, as you can say, well positioned.
Yes, Mexted, it certainly was. You could see Mexted getting it down and Mark Shaw going over and putting his hands on the ball just to make sure, but certainly the try to Murray Mexted. And New Zealanders are leading by 11 points to 6 with a kick to come. An important kick, because a 7-point lead is quite a substantial one. It would mean that the Springboks would have to score twice in order either to get level or ahead. Grant Fox. And wait for it. Yes, it's all the way, and it's a goal. We have 29 minutes gone, and New Zealand is leading by a goal, a try, and a penalty to the 2 penalties of the Springboks. That's Grant Fox. Second, and the referee has the last say. Too powerful front row. What a lovely scrum that is. Low, tight. Mr. Ferreira. Springboks will want to get a shove on this hard ground. Held by Yanni Briet. Ferreira to Botha. Misses the other man to Gerber. Little chip ahead. Jan Hiernis is there as well. Craig Green, but knocked it forward. And Warwick Taylor in an offside position. What's the referee going to give? Will he give the knock on first or the penalty?
No, he's given the penalty, and quite rightly so too. Craig Green was in an offside position. The ball was played by a New Zealander, went forward, and Craig Green in an offside position.
Yeah, so he's waited for advantage, and here is Naas Botha with an opportunity. I must say that Ken Rowlands has handled the game very well. Coming from Pontypridd. He's hit it well. It's swinging to the left, though. Yeah, it's there. Very well judged in the wind. I think Naas Botha aimed for the left-hand post, and over it went inside the right-hand post.
Well, that's probably the most difficult situation on the field to kick from. Beautifully judged. A long one up into the wind and just creeped over inside the left-hand upright.
So 13 points to 9. 4 points the difference, and we got about 10 minutes left in this half. The sun having gone right across the field. Long kick, under it is Naas Botha. Kicking against the wind. Hasn't found touch. There's Loveridge there. Loveridge leaves it to Crowley. Crowley, he'll use the wind. There's the high one. Naas Botha again under it. In his 22. And this time he doesn't take a chance. Lovely kick indeed. Taken by Loveridge, but it was out already.
Well, Naas Botha having a little bit of trouble with the wind down this grandstand touchline, and he's probably mistouched 3 or 4 times. I think Chicken, that one was a much better kick. Hit that beautifully.
Loveridge being chased by Yanni Briet. Difficult ball for Dave Loveridge there.
And good play by Yanni Briet, just taking in Loveridge and Jock Hobbs as they went from the back of the line out. Huge man and great ball sense.
There he is, Yanni Briet, number 8 on his back. And that's the New Zealanders' 22-meter line in the background. Fat Small, number 7. The referee having a few stern words to the front row. Yeah. Penalty to the Springboks, I think, for collapsing the scrum. Again, given against John Ashworth. The law says that your hips must be lower than your shoulders, and that wasn't the case there. So Naas Botha with yet another chance. You have to aim for the right hand upright. No, this time it slewed right across. It was looked like it was going over from the start, but the wind and the swing took it away.
He got quite a slight hook on that, and it's amazing how the wind just accentuates the error.
Just like your golf shots, Hugh. So you have a little bit of a fade on it, it turns into a terrible slice. Naas Botha. And has he kicked it too far? Yes, over.
Well, I think that was intentional.
Yeah, over touch and go. Had nearly 35 minutes in this, the first half. Picked up a Skalkberger there. And
I think the referee just on the wrong side of that ruck, really. He didn't see the ball coming out.
He'd given it to the right side. That was coming out on the New Zealander side. Loveridge just in front of his own 22. Back to Fox. Fox outside his 20. Here, not Charles Val Bartman there. Picked up quickly by Fox again. Referee waiting for advantage. Says there is none.
Well, that's the pressure that they look for from a loose hip flank forward. The pressure onto the fly half, and Bartman very quick off the side of the scrum there.
And the man who's down is not Grant Fox.
Well, that's the man who's come into the Transvaal side only one game before he got picked for South Africa. Comes from a rugby playing family. We'll see it again. There's the pass from Loveridge. Watch how quickly Bartman comes off the side of the flag. Just outside, a very good charge down. Great flank forward play.
And then it was picked up by Warwick Taylor. And he's now fine. Yes, Val Bartman, who's only 21 years old. And he did very well there, as you said. Christopher Herrera, nice Botha. Chipped into the gap there. And following up is Johan Kiernes. Jacko Reinach was there too. That's Val Bartman. Kiernes the other side of him. Short line out, tap back Ferreira, and his pass is charged down. Coming through very quickly, Hika Reid, picked up by Jacko Reinach to Donny Gerber. That's Michael du Plessis with it. He's got his brother Karel there. Good tackle there by Mike Clamp on Karel du Plessis. Who'll get this ruck? This is important second phase. Flippy van der Merwe, big number 3, was there. But the referee said that ball was dead.
And that certainly was a good tackle by Michael Clamp on the right wing, because Karel du Plessis came through on the burst and Clamp just managed to latch onto a leg.
And Jock Hobbs is another chap getting him out the field very well indeed. Christopher Herrera, to Nas Botha. Here's the drop goal attempt. And referee well positioned, but it hasn't gone there. Short. Kieran Crowley got his kick in as he was tackled by Jacko Reinach.
Quite interesting to see Kieran Crowley. I'm not sure that he realized that Reinach was coming up so quickly. Seemed to delay his kick until there was almost a charge down situation.
Short line out. And Gary Wetton with it, helped by Hika Reid. Andy Hayden is there. Here's the ruck, the rolling maul. And John Ashworth with it. Lovely work by these New Zealand guys. Typical All Black rugby that. And Cowboy Shaw coming tearing in at the death there. And a penalty against Cowboy Shaw. Yep, he doesn't like it, but the referee firmly says that he was coming in the wrong side of that ruck.
Well, I think there's been a lot of tenseness in this situation amongst the players, and it's a robust game, and the referee has been very, very firm with the players. I mean, we couldn't have had a repeat of last Tuesday night's situation, and the referee quite right in keeping it very firm. A difficult kick.
No, not this one. That shows how strong this wind is. And Kieran Crowley near his own line, and that was interesting. I don't think he realized that the Karel du Plessis was so close up to him.
I think he possibly just pushed that a little too far. He's trying to grab a kick to recollect it again.
And so Springboks on the attack. 2 minutes to go of ordinary time in this half. There's Uli Schmidt. Taken well there by Gert Small. Laid it back well too for second phase. But a little bit of a misunderstanding between Uli Schmidt and Christopher Herrera. Springbok ball. There's an 8-man line out this time. Where will it go? Deep one. Jannie Breed tapping it back to Val Bartman. Good drive there. And second phase, but referee said it was knocked forward. Coming away with it. There's Val Bartman there. Jannie Breed behind him. 42,000 people here. And I think they've been enthralled by a very tight, close game. Average. Cleverly held by Mexted there. Mexted himself picking up, and Crowley with it. And that's a good kick by Kieran Crowley, using that wind.
Well, it is a good kick by Kieran Crowley, but the All Blacks at this stage possibly not getting enough possession. I'm just looking up to the uppermost parts of that open stand, and that wind is still pretty stiff breeze, so It's a 4-point lead for the New Zealanders, and South Africa will be playing with the wind in the second half.
Yeah, 13-9 it is. Less than a minute to go, and lifting in the line out, the referee says. That's the first penalty we've had for that. There's Jock Hobbs, number 7, talking to the referee, and Grant Fox indicating that he is going to kick it goal. Once he's indicated, of course, he must then kick for the goals. 40 minutes on the stopwatch.
Well, this of course means this is the most vital kick probably Grant Fox has had. He's already kicked 2 conversions, one of which he was successful with, 2 penalties, also successful with only 1. He's had 4 kicks of goal, while Botha has had 6 kicks of goal, been 3 successful penalty shots. And this just probably a minute or 2 before half time, a very vital situation for the All Blacks, because if he kicks this, of course, South Africa will have to score twice to get back into the game.
13-9. Can you make it 16-9? That's the Springbok 10-meter line he's kicking from. And it's not going to be short. Wait for it. And off the post and in. 16 points to 9. And he will be delighted. The New Zealanders will be absolutely delighted. A 7-point lead. As you can see, 41 minutes gone. There have been a few stoppages, so we could have a couple of minutes yet. So there is the halftime whistle, and at halftime the New Zealanders are leading by a goal, 2 penalties and a try for their 16 points to 3 penalties by the Springboks. There you have it. Still anybody's game, with the Springboks having the wind at their backs for the second half. We'll be with you for the second half, but in the meantime we go back to the studio. And there is an indication of this wind. Botha kicking it right over the dead ball line. The wind coming from the southwest, and it really comes quite solidly through the gap in the stands in the corners. Grant Fox. And that's a lovely high kick under it is Louis Moorman. Andy Hayden was up there too, and is picked up by Gert Small over on the far side. Quite happy to run it into touch. Nico Reed getting an indication of where the ball's got to come into. Short one taken by Ashworth in the front. There's a good drive by the New Zealanders. Second phase coming. Loveridge says he wants it. And in goes Jock Hobbs to try and see if he can't get it out there. But referee waiting well for advantage. Fox, and he did well to get his kick in as he was challenged by Yanni Breert and Christo Ferreira. That's the halfway line. And Willie Schmidt to throw in. So the Springboks might have this one. Ferreira to Botha. Difficult pass to take right in front of him. There's a good up and under. Michael du Plessis chasing up, but a mark called for. And well done by Kieran Crowley under a lot of pressure.
Well, a very good take by Kieran Crowley, but an indication of just how strong the wind is up there, because Botha hardly hit that one. He hit it straight up in the air and carried fully 30-40 meters. You can see how close Crowley marked his angle there. So the All Blacks right now will need tactically, the New Zealanders will need to dominate possession in this situation.
And the referee says that the Springboks must have an 8-man line out. That already, Willie Schmidt was already at his mark where he had to throw in, and once you've got to your mark, you can't then decide to have a short line out. And well taken there at the back of the line out by Gert Small. Botha, another up and under there. This is a difficult one. Very quickly is Michael du Plessis, a flying tackle, and another mark given there.
And
very good.
Magnificent take. That was just amazing by Kieran Crowley, because Dani Gerber was really flying through the air. Magnificent take by the New Zealand fullback.
And is it perhaps the Springbok tactic to crowd Crowley with all these up and unders now?
Well, I think Botha is obviously going to make good use of the wind if he can get the possession, and the All Blacks really have to dominate the possession now. Here comes Mexted.
Murray Mexted, very clever there. The ball was tapped back, and Mexted, of course, was not offside. He went through very quickly indeed. Reinach under a bit of pressure, so just shows from one line out the New Zealanders have gained about 60-70 meters of ground. That's the Springbok 22 they're on. Back the line out, Jannie Breert. Tackle by Andy Hayden. But what the referee said, he said it wasn't in straight, and has given the non-offending side the choice of another line out or a set scrum. And it's the Springboks who've decided on a set scrum, and it's Hika Reid who's going to need a bit of attention.
It's quite interesting to see the leadership of Jock Hobbs. He's been controlling very well at the back of the line, putting pressure on the Springbok halfbacks, and I think New Zealand just looked like they have that little bit more leadership, little bit more organisation in their purpose, and they obviously realising that this is the important one for them on this tour.
And the man who's getting the attention at the moment, Hika Reid, is a fellow who really has impressed us. He's been magnificent. One has hardly seen him lose a tight head in the scrums, but he's like having a third or a fourth loose forward. He really is in the van of any attack, and it was quite typical there. He got hurt going for the ball.
Well, there's still a little bit of a problem. And there's Botha, who, of course, the national hero. People who play against him don't like him too much because he causes so much really problems in the opposing sides.
And there he is with it again, and this time he certainly made sure of his touch. And a lot of people watching in their shirt sleeves in this almost summery weather. It's always a bit warmer in Durban than the rest of the country, and there was Loveridge under a bit of pressure. And taken by Uli Schmidt away from him. Gerber out to Michael du Plessis, and there's Uli Schmidt again, and trying to pick up somebody. Uli Schmidt still with it. Back it comes Ferreira to Botha, and he's trying to run himself into a good position. Donny Gerber, and there is a slip we've seen so often with him. Who's he got with him? Second phase again, out to Michael du Plessis. Changing direction, there's Uli Schmidt again. He's like a centre three-quarter at the moment. Giving it there to Anton Barnard. Carl du Plessis taking it from him. Back to Ferreira. And Ferreira did well to get that one away. Botha, Michael du Plessis, and that's Jannie Breert in the line. Furness, they got a man over. Gerber going through the gap. And he's got Reinach outside him, but he went that step too far.
Well, it must be a penalty for a high tackle. Must be.
Yeah, the referee on the spot. That certainly looked like a stiff arm tackle there.
Well, you can see Donny Gerber down on the ground as he slipped inside, and the referee having a very, very stern word to Murray Mexted there. Here we see it again through the hands. Watch for Jannie Breert, the number 8 in the line. There he is. And then watch Donny Gerber, the slip inside. Now watch, there's number 8 Mexted. As Gerber comes inside him, bang.
Yeah, and Gerber seems to have recovered. All right. Or he's still getting a bit of attention there. Botha, the captain, up to see how he's getting on. And I think the referee gave quite a stern warning there to Murray Mexted, whilst we saw the proverbial finger wagging. And good covering by Mexted.
Well, we see it again. This is the third time the tap back from Louis Moorman. Well taken by Christo Ferreira. A lot of pressure for him. Then Botha almost looked like he was going to take a drop. Jannie Breert in the back line. Ball going through the hands of Furness. Gerber just the dance inside. Now watch here we go. Bang. Murray makes it difficult when a person slips inside you. Not easy to stop a person in that situation. And almost, one would say, conceding the penalty in favour of a try.
And he's missed the kick. He's missed the penalty, has Botha. And so the score remains what it was. 16 points to the New Zealanders, 9 to the Springboks, and we've had 7.5 minutes here in the second half of this match.
Well, you can see Botha just talking to himself there, very upset with maybe his concentration, his follow-through not quite going through properly.
Ron Fox, Andre de Skalkberger. So was Gary Wetton, though, and the tap back goes rolling into touch there. See Murray Mexted right at the back of the lineup there. Louis Moorman took that beautifully. Nice Botha with it, and there's a drop goal attempt. Where is it? The referee's well positioned, but this time it's past the post again. So that's 2 drop goals that Nice Botha has missed so far, and a few penalties here.
Yes, 7 penalties, successful with 3.
Right, and the score remains the same, 16 points to 9. New Zealand is leading. Grant Fox with a drop out. That's hanging nicely in the wind. Scout Burger tapped it back. Coming through very quickly, there was Mark Shaw. And Donnie Gerber playing a bit of soccer to stop it. Referee said knock forward.
Gary Wetton, who was up in the van there, he's going to receive a little bit of attention, but I'm sure Mark Shaw will be a bit upset about his handling capabilities in that situation, and one might have thought, well, if he just leant in with the boot, it would have put South Africa under a lot of pressure.
Gary Wetton, who has played pretty well on this tour, must be delighted to be back with his club mate from Auckland, Andy Hayden. Another player who's played pretty well is his brother Alan Wetton. He has always been in the thick of it, and a real typical blindside driving loose forward.
I think the other interesting thing is that the former Frank Shelford, who's done so incredibly well on this tour, and really the talk around South Africa is that he is very close to taking Murray Mexted's place.
Wayne Shelford.
Wayne Shelford.
Yes, he had an absolute humdinger here on Tuesday, playing against Natal. He scored 2 tries himself, and his driving play in the loose was really tremendous. Mr. Ferreira just inside the New Zealanders' half of the field. It's a good shove, and Nice Botha was in a difficult position there. Good work by Jannie Breed, linking up there. Donnie Gerber with it, well tackled. And what's the whistle gone for this time? It's the Strulbast.
Well, that's interesting to see the referee. Obviously, as the referee blew there, Uli Schmidt had a couple of words to say, and the referee really has been high marks and full credit to him. He's been it's very tense here, very nasty situation on Tuesday night, and Clive Rowlands, the referee, has darted in amongst the players, talked to anybody who might look like they're transgressing the laws very, very firmly indeed, and it's really been a pleasure to see the players. There's been 1 or 2 little bumps, and the players have accepted rugby and the spirit that rugby is, and it's been a scrupulously clean game.
Yes, but on Tuesday night it was a very interesting game. The bedlam only was in the first 7 minutes, and after that, once the referee took a firm control, it was quite a nice game of rugby football. Christopher Ferreira, that's the New Zealanders' 10-metre line being held by Jannie Breed. Breed picking it up, and Jock Hobbs with an attacking fall. Grant Fox with it. Grant Fox dumbing his way, looking for support on the inside. Andy Hayden getting stuck in there with another super attacking fall. And here's second phase coming, and offside against Anton Barnard, the Springbok loose head prop, palpably offside there. Remember, you've got to be behind the last line of feet in a ruck like that.
Well, it was quite interesting. I'm sure if Grant Fox watches this game again, perhaps on video or something like that, he will rue that situation there. Really, it was a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 situation. Decided to dart inside. Was well tackled by Christo Ferreira, but both the guys on his left-hand side screaming for possession.
And the same Grant Fox now with another important penalty kick. He put a longer one over than this earlier, but remember, this time it's against the wind.
Be interesting actually to see if he makes the distance. Looking up at those flags, the flags are still flying very stiffly against him. This is actually only Grant Fox's 5th kick at goal of the game.
And he's been successful with 3 so far. And it's got the distance, I think. Yeah, it is a lovely kick, a beautiful kick against the wind by Grant Fox. And 19 points to 9 is a substantial lead. We can see 12 minutes gone. And 4 out of 6 is a pretty good success story for Grant Fox. There he was, dotting it down. Sun making it very awkward for the cameras over on the far side. You can see how bright that sun is, and it really is warm over on that popular side over there. It's quite a long drop out taken by Louis Moolman. And they go to the ruck, and Botha has Jock Hobbs coming up for him, and Craig Green, has he found touch? No, he hasn't. He's found Botha, who always seems to be in a position to take the return kick. That's a really high one, and awkward bounce for Crowley. He wanted to go over the try line, and he would have got it down. And has he got his touch? Yeah. In fact, a pretty good touch.
Very good touch. And Crowley had the room to move, and he had a little bit of space. Well judged by him. Very good kick against the wind.
And from his own try line, he's taken play to within 7 meters, as you see, of the halfway line. And the referee in very quickly. Motioning the Springboks to get back.
Well, obstruction in the lineup, bumping, barging before the players have touched the ball. Again, the referee very, very good.
And almost like a schoolmaster there, instructing the Springboks to get 10 meters back, because they were the offending side. And not one of Grant Fox's best. Slid off the side of his foot a bit there.
Well, of course, in the circumstances, they'll prefer that to not find in touch.
Short line out, 4-man line out. And deep one, Murray Mexted tries, but tap back by the Springboks. Through very quickly were the New Zealand guys there. And once again, Barnard culpably offside. That's the second time he's been caught offside in the last 5 or 6 minutes. Big man from the Eastern Province.
Well, really, I suppose one would say in reflection that that's unforgivable. He's given away 3 points, and one would think that that was a situation. Botha, in fact, as you see there, the Springbok players together, and he's really giving them a stern talking to, because in test matches you cannot afford to just give away points like that.
And that was a situation where the Springboks wanted a clean ball, and Nas would have driven the New Zealanders back, because obviously with the wind, the tactics of the Springboks should be to play the whole of this half in their opponent's territory. But to do that, they've got to get good possession and use that wind. The lead is now 10 points, and Grant Fox will be doing his level best to stretch that to 13.
Well, this kick probably in the most difficult situation in the ground. The wind swirling through the gap, which is to his right.
So he'll have to aim almost outside the right-hand upright. And he's hit it very well, but I think the wind's taken it. No, the wind's taken it way across the post, as you predicted.
Well, they used to say the only man who could really read the wind at Kings Park was Keith Oxley.
And there's a long drop out here in Crowley, deciding to run it up. Because if you can run 10 meters, you have less far to kick. And Kunis outside his 22, what'll he do with it? He's kicked along, raking one parallel with the touchline there. And Loveridge deliberately lets it go into the in-goal area. And Uli Schmidt running up to challenge him. Loveridge very firmly dotting it down. .5 minutes gone in the second half, and the score 19 points to 9. The Grant Fox, his side, 10 points in the lead. It's a good hanging ball, and Skalberger takes the ball and gets the New Zealander at the same time, but I think the referee has said that
early tackle.
Early tackle.
Early tackle, the charge coming from Gary Wetton.
Gary Wetton didn't seem to like that, but it was pretty clear. Botha. Well, he won't be short, but one has not seen him kick quite as badly as this for a long time. That's an indication of the strength of the wind, that he has to get a teammate to hold it, stop it from blowing over. And that looks a better kick. And against the pole again. That's the second time in this match. Taken by Loveridge. And Loveridge did well. as he was challenged to get his kick in. So Nasser's missed how many now, Hugh?
Well, that's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th penalty he's missed. South Africa have had the 3 successes, so it's 8 penalty shots at goal. And certainly with this wind, one can excuse him for missing them against the wind, but with the wind, really he's very upset with his kicking performance.
And here's the New Zealand drive. Louis Moorman doing his best to stem it at the back there, but these New Zealand forwards really are playing as a pack.
And Mark Shaw too has been very effective today.
New Zealand's 10-metre line, being held well by Mexted. Fox kicking for Craig Green on the left. Back for it is Reinach, and Kunis deciding to duck into his 22-metre area, which is not a bad idea, but he's missed his touch. Loveridge delayed his kick a little bit too long, perhaps. He managed to get it in, and Kunis into Botha, and Botha having to run his way out of trouble there. And this looks a pretty good one. Well, no, it bounces on its point, and coming back for Warwick Taylor, but Carl du Plessis so nearly collected that. He knocked it on. Had he collected it cleanly, it would have been pretty dangerous. Had his brother...
Well, that is Carl du Plessis really at his best in those sort of situations, picking up that long kick ahead. Carl du Plessis in possession at that stage, a lot of trouble for New Zealand.
And he had his brother at his elbow, but New Zealand ball. Good shove there, back to Fox. And that's not a bad up and under, eventually. And within that 10-metre area, offside, the referee says. So his players in that, within 10 metres, the man catching the ball must retire. They must actually go backwards or retire. They've actually got to retire in the direction that will get them most quickly out of that 10-metre radius, even if they have to go forward. Nearly 20 minutes gone. And this is a better kick from Botha. That's it. That's 3 points. So New Zealanders 1 goal, 3 penalties and a try, and the Springboks 4 penalties. So 19 points to 12, 20 minutes left in this match. Still anybody's game with the wind at the Springboks' backs, but they'll have to get good possession in order to use it. Botha, I'm sure, will want to try to play the rest of this half in his opponent's half of the field.
Well, I think really from now on in, it's all a question of possession, because 20 minutes to go and the All Blacks are, the Springboks would have to score twice to get back into the game. So very tight situation for South Africa. New Zealand need to control.
And good work by Ger Small, number 7 on the far side. But it was knocked on earlier on, and whose ball is it? It's the New Zealanders' ball. Scrum collapsing on the far side. The referee has gone over to the other side of the scrum to watch for that collapsing. Loveridge out to Fox. Warwick Taylor back inside of Craig Green. That was a good move. Craig Green well held by the cover defence. And Warwick Taylor, slight knock forward as Scout Burger, number 4, came out.
And a very good tackle by Val Bartman on Craig Green as he came through on the burst there. And just watch for that number 6 jersey, because he's doing some great tackling around the fringes.
Christopher Herrera, Kunis' blind side, and out to Kunis it is, and he's got Reinach. And not a bad rolling kick by Johan Kunis.
Well, the crowd almost sort of baying for a late tackle there. A bit of a charge from Murray Mexted, but the referee, I think quite rightly, said play must go on.
Yeah, the line-out signals coming through the effects microphone down on the field, on the ground level. Well taken by Andy Hayden, tapped back untidily though, coming through very quickly with Reinach. And Scout Burger helping.
Well, Uli Schmidt coming through there as well, and he certainly at a stage was featuring as a centre 3/4, and he certainly gets around the field.
Yes, he's had a great game as Uli Schmidt. He's a medical doctor, and he's doing his national service, and as you
Lifting,
heard that
you heard.
whistle, lifting in the line out, the referee said that's the second penalty for that in this match. And Brown Fox doing what Botha did so often in New Zealand in '81, using the place kick to get better accuracy, and that showed how he did it. A very good bit of ground gained over on the far side. And Grant Fox has really kicked well on the whole tour. Five-man line out, and Christopher Rea did well to get that away. Donny Gerber missing out of Jan Kunis. Michael du Plessis, little knock forward, I think. Yeah, the referee said no advantage. And there that's Johan Kunis, number 15.
Well, Mark Shaw is probably the most fiery guy in the New Zealand side, just holding his hands up in the air, averting the difficult situation.
And
foot up.
Foot up, it says. Free kick, not a penalty. Loveridge with a quick one. Are the Springboks 10 metres? And Gary Wetton. No, there's the penalty for not big 10 metres. And that was a very silly thing to do.
Well, very well played by Dave Loveridge. He saw the situation, picked it up very quickly, took the tap, and almost in anticipation that the referee would give the 10-metre penalty. Loveridge, 33 tests I think he's had, and great experience.
Interesting, Hugh, that's another one of the laws that's changed 5 years ago. That would have been a free kick or a penalty on the same spot. And there's Dave Loveridge. Remember that controversial last try in New Zealand? That was for that very thing. The referee advanced it 10 metres and turned it into a penalty from the original free kick.
Well, there you see the score on the scoreboard, 19 points to 12, 16 minutes to go. And this ball is going to swing viciously from the right.
Well, he won't be short, but a very difficult kick.
You have a magnificent view of it there, Chicken. The wind, as I say, howling through just on the right-hand side. You can see the sunlight on the people there. That's where the wind is howling through. He's got it aimed well right.
And against the pole again, the 3 times in one match. Skalkberger picking it up, and in goes Gertsma. The Springboks must win this ruck right in front of their posts, and they do. Christopher Rea to Botha, who has Fox on him, and Mike Clamp, but he got his kick in pretty quickly there. And the touch judge on this side, Mr. Frank McMullen, who is a referee from New Zealand, who will be handling the game between the New Zealanders and the South African Barbarians at Ellis Park next Tuesday. And well taken at the back of the line out. The good two-handed catch. Loveridge, blind side. Uli Schmidt is there. And Loveridge decided just to get into touch. Uli Schmidt is very effective at the front of the line out there. Here's a 4-man line out. And well done by Jannie Breert. Botha. Out to Michael du Plessis. There's Karel in the line, and Donny Gerber, and Jaco Reinach. Gerber inside him. Jaco Reinach, the flyer, and he's still going. Managed to shovel it in. Mexted was there. Very good play by the number 8 forward in defence. And there's a tremendous ruck. The ball being shoveled up. But very good defensive work by Murray Mexted, who was there just at the moment critique. That's Jaco Reinach, and he's done the 400 metres in 45.01 seconds. Holds the South African record still.
Well, it's nice to see the South Africans running that ball out of their own 22 area. Botha picking it up very quickly. They need possession.
And there's only about 13 minutes to go of ordinary time. Christopher Rea, now Botha. Misses out a man. That's out. A bad pass to Kunis. And coming up very quickly is Mike Clamp. Kicked it out on the full.
Well, of course, this is a situation where you've got to be very careful that you don't push the panic button, because you want possession, you want to run the ball, you want to run at the opposition. The Springboks backs have looked very dangerous each time they've got it. We had Donny Gerber giving a big heavy one. Great play by Jannie Breert, but not in straight.
Yeah. New Zealanders opt for the set scrum. Referee wants them to wait until the ball is available. Loveridge. Channel 3 ball picked up by Mexted. Laying it back beautifully. That is Gary Knight, helped by Andy Hayden. This is the rolling ball. That's Hika Reid, Gary Wetton, and offside again. But I think there was a knock forward first.
Well, I think Vera again on a situation where Anton Barnard probably lucky that the referee wasn't on his side of that ruck.
Pretty intense scrum. Christophe Ferreira, Naas Botha, Michael du Plessis, Donny Gerber, and Jaco Reinach running around Craig Green. No, Craig Green very solid on defence.
Actually, Craig Green running very well off the ball there and shepherding Jaco Reinach into touch. For Reinach to get past him, he's just got to go a little bit quicker. You can see Green is a strong lad, and that ball, he just put himself in a perfect position to stop that attack.
Good tap back, good work by Christophe Ferreira, and well taken by Naas Botha. And Kunis coming in, well tackled by Victor Simpson, and a kick ahead by Loveridge, going back for Jannie Brett. Good fall by Jannie Brett, and tackled by Victor Simpson, well laid back. Michael du Plessis out to Naas Botha. Donny Gerber is going to cut inside. Yes, he has. He beat Gary Knight. He's got Reinach with him, and Reinach, Mike Clamp coming across, Reinach from the score all the way. Craig Green going for him. And a try given underneath the post. There's Jaco Reinach, the flyer. A lovely piece of work by Donny Gerber and Naas Botha.
Well, that all started from magnificent work, firstly by Jannie Brett. Jannie Brett picked up the ball, got up, there it is, after Michael du Plessis there had passed the ball very quick through the hands by him. Then Naas Botha running, making nice ground. Now watch how Donny Gerber almost passes, then dances inside, does most of the running as he goes now. Perfectly timed. Jaco Reinach, just as he did for the Junior Springboks, running inside. You can see Donny Gerber already celebrating, and the try for the Free State under the poles. Great work. Firstly, here we see again Botha, then Botha. Now watch for the little dance. See the little jink there, beautiful inside. Gary Knight won't be too happy with that situation. Perfect time of the pass, and it's over to the athlete.
And while you are watching that, Naas Botha has converted the try, and so it is 19 points to New Zealanders, 17 to the Springboks. And Gary Wetton very well up in the van of that attack there. Mark Shaw waiting, and what is that? The referee very quickly indeed. We haven't had any fisticuffs so far in this match. It's been played in a very good spirit. And penalty to the Springboks there. So it is 2 tries to the New Zealanders against 1 to the Springboks. Tries by Warwick Taylor when he charged down that Naas Botha kick, and then another try by Murray Mexted, both in the first half, and in reply just the one by Jaco Reinach. 2 points the difference. 9 minutes left to go. There's Jock Hobbs, number 7, who's had a great game for the New Zealanders. He's held them together. He's obviously a very good captain on the field.
And a little bit of trouble for John Ashworth, and it certainly has, as you say, Chick. They look like they've had more direction, more leadership, calmer under stress situations, and really Jock Hobbs, I think, had done extremely well as a deputy for the injured hooker Andy Dalton.
19 points to 18. He said 17 in the excitement. That's what it would have been a few years ago when there was 3 for a try. So 19-18, 1 point in it, and those points are made up for the New Zealanders. 1 goal, 3 penalties and a try, and for the Springboks 1 goal and 4 penalties. And Loveridge picked up a Mexted.
The referee blowing his whistle there, although it was New Zealand possession, the scrum going down and collapsing, and so it must be a scrum again. And Dave Loveridge, again, you see the experience. He's pointing and saying to the referee, this is the mark, this is where I'm going to put the ball in.
And the referee on the opposite side to the scrum from where it's being put in to look for that deliberate collapsing, if there is any, out to Fox. And Fox kicking across for his left wing, Craig Green. But Kunis There he is, Johan Kunis, a good kick.
Well, this is a situation where the New Zealanders need to tighten up the game, and South Africa have done so well at spinning the ball. Every time the backs get the ball, they look extremely dangerous. Carl du Plessis waiting on the left wing there. Danger force for South Africa.
This line out about 8 meters inside the Springbok half of the field. Jannie Brett tapping back to Ferreira. Nice Botha. And chip ahead kick. Corner kick there. And gaining ground.
Well, of course, there's a situation for the drop kick here. New Zealand ball. But Nas so often puts himself into a situation down the left-hand touchline, ready for the drop kick.
Left for play about 6.5 minutes. 1 point the difference. 19-18. Nicker Reid taken by Ashworth in the front of the line out, helped by Andy Hayden. In goes Mark Shaw. This is a good drive by the New Zealanders. And the referee very quickly, you probably heard that coming through. Do you hear him say that will do?
Well, really, that will do in the Welsh accent, and really he has full marks to the referee. Been absolutely superb today.
And Loveridge to put the ball in. Springboks responsible for killing the ball there. And
he's saying they're too low. He wants them a little bit higher. The heads have got to be above the hips.
Reinach trying to get his head in. And he wants them to get in properly. Right, Loveridge. Back to Fox, and Fox being chased there by Christopher Ferreira. Hasn't found his touch. Carl du Plessis back for it. Difficult ball over his shoulder, and they're running it. Nice Botha. Not a good pass though. And Nice Botha running his way out of trouble there. And Dani Gerber got Reinach on the outside of him. Got a good tackle there by Mike Clamp.
In fact, a very, very good cover tackle by Mike Clamp coming over from the right wing. Quick one from the All Blacks. Gary Knight running with it.
Superb tackle. Mike Clamp, who's a right wing, made the tackle right on the far side, and as Hugh Bladen said, tremendous covering. And here's a 5-man line out. Springboks throwing in, and goes to the back to Jannie Brett. Out to Nice Botha, missing out to Michael du Plessis, and Carl du Plessis. Ball going past, and a man tackle without the ball, and the penalty given against the New Zealand.
Against Mike Clamp for an early tackle on Carl du Plessis. In fact, Carl du Plessis got nowhere near the ball, and Clamp had him round the legs.
And here's Nice Botha with the wind at his back, and he's going to see if he can get 3 points for the Springboks. If he does, of course, the Springboks will be in the lead. 4 minutes to go of ordinary time. And this is the position from where Grant Fox kicked a penalty in the first half. Andy Hayden glaring at Nice Botha from only 10 meters away, and a very important kick. You'll have a good view of this one. Has it got the distance? I think it's short. No, it's just to the right of the post. And is that the last chance for the Springboks? There's 4 minutes to go, and Kieran Crowley taking his time. Carl du Plessis to challenge. So the New Zealanders leading at the moment by that 1 goal, 3 penalties and a try. For the Springboks, 1 goal and 4 penalties. And Johan Kunis with a long-range drop. Mark Shaw back.
Well, that was not a bad effort from well inside his own half. That ball didn't miss by much.
Using the wind, he really kicked it high up to let the wind take it.
Well, it's quite amazing. The All Blacks, they're walking the ball back to the 22-meter kickoffs. It's taking time. Jock Hobbs is wasting time a little bit on the left-hand side. Who can blame them?
Grant Fox kicking a long one. It's also pinning the Springboks back as far as he can. Nice Botha with it now. And there's a rolling ball, but Loveridge is there. No, Kieran Crowley is there. Crowley it is, and difficult one. Bouncing ball, chasing it is Christopher Ferreira. Andy Hayden is there, and this is right in front of the Springbok posts. Andy Hayden very clever there, because he was in an offside position. He didn't take any part in the play at all. Christopher Ferreira. Smothered past Botha and Michael du Plessis, Jan Guinness. And that's Uli Schmidt with it. Uli Schmidt to Val Bartman. Bartman helped by Gert Small. Good work by Jannie Breed. And a wild pass by Christopher Ferreira. Jan Guinness, Dani Gerber. Springboks desperate now. They must try and keep the ball in play. Murray Mexted back for that long kick. Very well taken by the number 8. Mexted looking for support. Pushes Reinach away. And Reinach shoving him out to touch on the far side. Uli Schmidt trying to grab the ball for a quick throw-in.
Well, they must be careful now that South Africa don't panic too much, because it looks like they're just throwing the ball around in wild abandon. But they've got to keep control as well. Great catching by Murray Mexted from that long punt.
Long one. Good work by Skalkberger. Nice Botha with it. There's a chip ahead being chased by Gerber. But it is Loveridge who picked it up, kicking it out on the full. It didn't matter. He is quite happy to get it out, come what may.
Well, Dave Loveridge got very heavily tackled in that kick and by Dani Gerber. Nice to see Dani Gerber just checking to see whether he is okay. He's not feeling particularly well. Got a very heavy smack on the head, but great, very good cover by the little scrum half. Another one who I think has played extremely well in this test and possibly has brought that little bit of experience, a little bit of here we see it again. Now the chip ahead from Botha. Now watch for Dave Loveridge, because he's running like the wind down the back there. There he is, just picks it up, and Gerber with the tackle. You just see his head going into the deck.
And Gerber, of course, is a pretty solid guy. He must weigh all of 90 kilograms. And there's David Loveridge. All the experience of 33 tests behind him. And on the stopwatch, 39.5 minutes. But there will be quite a few minutes of additional time. There'll be quite a number of stoppages in the second half. Ball well taken by Skalkberger. Andy Hayden is there to try and stop it coming back. Uli Schmidt and Botha with it, taking it from Ferreira. And up and under. Under it is Gary Knight. Helped there by Ashworth and kicking it ahead, chasing it to Uli Schmidt and Botha. And coming across, Warwick Taylor did very well to fly hack the ball out to touch, and the referee indicating to Mr. Frank McMullen where it went out, 1 meter away from the New Zealanders' try. This is do or die for the Springboks. It's their throw.
Well, this is where you have to have possession. All the New Zealanders on the try. Beautifully taken by Moorman.
Out to Botha, and here's the drop goal attempt, and has he done it? No, it's missed. Botha's hit the pole. And going for it there is Ashworth, and John Ashworth kicks it as far as he can possibly kick it. And what's it going to be?
It's a 22 dropout. That is just amazing. Botha right in front of the poles, and it actually hit the upright.
And Kieran Crowley with a quick dropout. Jan Guinness trying a very long-range drop, but he's going to be to the right, and it's going to go over the dead ball line. And there is the final whistle, and the New Zealanders have won this test match by a solitary point, 19 points to 18. They led 16-9 at half-time. They've won by a goal, 3 penalties and a try to the Springboks, 1 goal and 4 penalties. The try scorers for the New Zealanders, Warwick Taylor and Murray Mexted in the first half, and for the Springboks, Jaco Reinach. Penalty kicks and conversion by Botha, 4 penalties and a conversion, and for the New Zealanders 3 penalties and a conversion by Grant Fox. So the New Zealanders have won, I think we can put it this way, by 2 tries to 1, and to that extent let us give them all credit. They deserved their victory. They scored the 2 tries. The Springboks replied with 1. The Springboks had a bit of bad luck, missing a few penalties. There is Jock Hobbs, absolutely exhausted, but he must be delighted as well. There's big Gary Wetton going in there. Botha hit the penalty, the upright, twice, but Grant Fox hit it once. Botha missed a few more penalties than he's wont to do, but Hugh Bladen 2 tries to 1 and 1-point victory for the New Zealanders.
Well, what a magnificent game, incredibly exciting, very good play by New Zealand. I think the difference really, Botha didn't quite have his kicking boots on today. I think he succeeded with 5 kicks at goal, had 11 in all, and ultimately I think incredibly good play by the New Zealanders. Much more control under Jock Hobbs. Dave Loveridge good. The Springboks not that bad. 19 points to 18. New Zealand have won.
And 1 test each, and what a platform for the next test match at Pretoria and the following one at Ellis Park. So there you have this big crowd. I think they've been excited. They've enjoyed the game. It's been a lovely day for rugby, and 19 points to the New Zealanders, 18 points to the Springboks, and from us, goodbye from Kings Park.